Hello everyone, the Avalorian here. Today we'll be discussing on why we are all sleeping on Elena of Avalor. If a friend had sent you this video, thank them. You're about to be introduced to an amazing Disney cartoon. When Elena of Avalor was first announced, everyone was mad hyped for a new Latina princess, but were kind of disappointed that she wasn't getting a full-length movie. Which I understand. I understand that completely. I'm Latina, and we've been waiting for decades for, something Disney could do. It could be a little disappointing, but rather, Elena of Avalor is a TV show. A Disney Junior show, that is. But have y'all even seen it? Yo, I agree. We definitely need more Latina princesses in media. Period. Just Latina people. Latina cartoon characters. Period. But this show has a lot of Karen charm to it. You cannot ignore it. You cannot ignore it. Let's start with the plot. Alright, this next bit's a little confusing if you're not familiar with Sophia, but I'll do my best to explain. Elena of Avalor is a spin-off series with the ever so iconic Sophia I, made by the same director actually. We follow what happens to Elena, the protagonist, as the title suggests, after she's freed from the amulet that Sophia I always had, and defeats Shiriki, the main antagonist of the Sophia I special movie, Elena of the Secret and the Secret of Avalor. The first season follows Elena's journey to become queen after her rescue, and it is not an easy task. Homegirl building bridges, she's signing the treaties, negotiating with merchants, restoring old traditions, preventing volcanoes from erupting, hunting down criminals, princess stuff. At first glance, this show can seem like a typical coming-of-age story with a tiara on top, but no. The plot slowly but surely gets more intricate and exciting. Although it could take a while for the actual plot to start rolling in, they do this because they first develop the characters and focus on each of their arcs and stuff, but by season 2, it feels like a completely different show, and they really only expand from there. The show has a lot of potential, and I feel like the creators really expanded upon it in an amazing way. Regardless, most of the episodes are really charming and captivating anyway, and I cannot watch a single episode without a smile on my face. If you want something that makes you smile, this show is great. And part of that is definitely due to the extremely memorable characters.
And these are my friends, Gabe, Mateo, and Naomi.
Is this an...
Several characters make a comeback from the movie that Elena of Avalor was first introduced in, as well as many other characters are introduced into the series as well. The show has a wide cast of main characters who receive almost as much attention and character development as Elena herself. There's Gabe, a newly hired royal guard, who seems like a typical jock, but is really such a lovable guy who will do literally anything to protect Elena and her kingdom. He takes his job very seriously, but he is super lovable in the process though. Naomi is a witty but wise friend who low-key cracks some of the best jokes in the show. Even Elena's little sister is a literal genius while being absolutely adorable at the same time. And don't get me started on Mateo, right? The newly appointed royal wizard of the kingdom. With a T, he has a title, y'all. But for real, he's such a sweetheart, and I adore watching his confidence in his magic and in himself slowly grow episode by episode. Esteban is Elena's cousin, and he might be one of the most complex characters in the show, as he struggles to hide the secret that he once betrayed his family, allowing Shiriki to enter the palace in the first place. What makes these characters so enjoyable is how they interact with one another. Viewers can see over time how their friendships and enemies develop.
Then I'm coming with you.
You are? Why?
Because you're my best friend.
Well, what if I offered her a better job in Avalor?
You'd do that?
I'd do whatever it took to get you to stay.
I can go on and on about all the compelling characters that are in the show, and even minor characters such as Doña Paloma or these Baker siblings that reappear in several episodes and too receive their own development and are largely featured in later episodes. Regardless of the large cast, the show really knows how to put and when to put attention to each character. You can really tell that the creators put so much love and care into the writing, design, and voice of these characters. Like, look at these designs. They are crisp. Look how nicely they go with each other. You know, they incorporate like styles from them, but also make it like iconic. Look at them silhouettes. They're nice. Then don't get me started on the voice acting, okay? Look at this cast of talented Latina voice actors who really put these characters to life, alright? If you enjoy character-driven stories, I highly recommend this series. The team behind Elena of Avalor decided to animate the show in 3D CGI. This initially was something that made me want to turn away from the show, but let me tell you, these characters move and express themselves. They're expressive. They're energetic, alright? Look at this. They managed to make 3D animation look as fluid and as exaggerated as traditionally drawn animation, and I am living for it. Oh my gosh. Just look at how these characters move. And they're not even singing or anything. When they do, it's even more energetic. May I remind you, this is Elena's grandfather. This show is so vibrant. The bright color palette is just great for kids, but it doesn't feel like it's trying to blind me like other shows. They only contribute to this magical feeling that you get when you watch the show. This decision to animate the show in 3D was able to incorporate fun and complex designs and several costume changes for several characters, which is really refreshing for a cartoon. With the 3D models, the designs are always going to remain proportionate as well. The only thing that had ever bothered me with it is Elena with her hair out. It just looks really flat, but it's only been featured for like 3 minutes, so I'll let the show slide with that. As a fan of animation, it's refreshing to see such high quality animation in a TV show. The music in this show is very frequent and really magical almost. Like, it has that Disney kind of charm to it. Like Sophia the First and Phineas and Ferb, each episode features an original song. A lot of them are absolute bangers, largely due to the incorporation of musical styles from throughout Latin America. Some styles include merengue, salsa, son montuno, vallenato, cumbia, and reggaeton, which I cannot believe works so well with the Disney show. The creators are not afraid to experiment either, even venturing out to mixing some rock, folk, and pop. There's even rap battles. With the demand for songs, not all of them are perfect, but they never feel unnecessary. The songs both slap, which is important, and always serve to develop the plot. I gotta give it to the voice actors, as several characters gain their own solo songs, and I'm just living for it. A personal favorite of mine is probably Paraíso. It just slaps and does a great job of introducing Val, the new character featured in this episode. One of my most favorite aspects of the show is definitely the inclusion of continuity and world building. These characters, they have memory. Many times, characters would reference achievements and actions that they or someone else had done in previous episodes, really making everything feel just so interconnected. And everything they refer to always serves a purpose, like boosting the confidence of a character, or maybe for just a clever joke. Several characters have arcs that continue throughout the episodes, such as Elena slowly getting better at her scepter, or Isa's inventions just getting more and more practical. They even grow in height. Look at Isa in Season 1 and Isa in Season 3. Like, the attention to detail is just amazing. You could really tell a lot of care was put into this show. Often characters are always in action whenever they're in the background or in center stage. Sometimes I just enjoy rewatching clips just to see what the characters in the back are doing, as some funny stuff is included. Ooh, the backgrounds. The backgrounds are gorgeous and very well designed. I really like the temples and like the households that are designed in the show. It just feels so different and memorable, and it takes a lot of creativity to make an ancient civilization, so I respect. Alongside, we learn of where Elena's magic comes from, as well as glimpses here and there of an ancient civilization that I mentioned before, through the reveal and discovery of several artifacts. They even have their own mythology in the show, inspired by real legends of Latin America. Throughout the show, we discover several magical realms and creatures, making this universe feel very expansive. We often return to several realms in later episodes or seasons, which just makes their introductions feel meaningful, you know? Avalor is such a colorful world and is so original as well. I know comedy is like a weird section here, but this show just does such a wonderful job of balancing both serious and comedic events. As a kids show, I am very surprised at how much I enjoy the jokes, and because, as you can tell, I am very outside the demographic that this show is striving for. Regardless, I believe kids and adults alike should enjoy this show for different reasons, but comedy is definitely a unifying factor. There is all sorts of comedies such as slapstick and satire, and it never feels out of place. It only enhances the experience, and I can guarantee that this show will get a chuckle out of you.
Before I said my first word, centripetal force.
That's 2 words.
Which makes me doubly impressive.
This show's like an onion. It has endless layers to it, and the more you watch, the more interesting and plot-driven it gets. So I plead you, be patient with it. There are 2 types of episodes this show has. One that is plot-driven, and the other which is character-driven. Although they can sometimes occur in the same episode. Those are some of my personal favorites. Due to this choice, the pacing can get a little slow at times. The first 9 episodes are very character-driven, with plot points kind of sprinkled in, slowly foreshadowing larger ambitions the show holds. I almost dropped the show a couple of times, as I simply thought it was going to be entirely made up of one-off episodes where, a simple problem is introduced and solved. Yet I was so glad I held on to it. Episode 10 was definitely when I began to see potential in this show. If you are simply looking for a plot-driven show, feel free to watch the first episode and then just skip to the 10th and go on from there. But I believe the less serious and one-off type episodes are included to appeal to a younger audience, as this show is broadcasted on television and these episodes would be aired out of order. Although these character-driven episodes could be really entertaining as well. Watching all the episodes definitely enhances the experience, making the plot feel even more powerful and moving. Regardless of how you watch the show, if you're convinced to start, Elena of Avalor is available on Disney Plus, with the 3rd season weirdly moved to the Disney Now website. I don't know how I found this out. You can also catch the show on Disney Junior around 5 to 5:30 Eastern Time. Links will be in the description so you can watch, okay? I might sound crazy to you that I'm giving a children's show this much praise, but you will understand what I mean for sure. Please just watch it. Please give it more attention, because perhaps with more attention, Disney executives could probably expand on the inclusion of even more Latinx princesses. This could really just be the beginning, y'all. Regardless if you're convinced or not, thank you so much for watching my video. This was a lot of fun to make. I hope all these categories, or at least one of them, convince you to check this show out. It is definitely worth a watch.